Hello again, power people. Welcome to Jube Vision. I always appreciate you all tuning in and checking out the videos, so gotta say thank you for watching. Looks like there were a lot of y'all who liked being able to refresh or catch up watching part 1 of the Raising Kanan Season 1 recap, going over episodes 1 through 5 of the first season. So here goes part 2. We're gonna finish it up and recap episodes 6 through 10 of Season 1. There was definitely a whole lot of drama and boss moves going on. Hope you enjoy and hope it helps you with all the Raising Kanan history as we continue with Season 2, Episode 4 tomorrow. Let's go! In Episode 6, it's time for Bulletproof Records Showcase. Rock and Marvin are not in support of it, but they do plan on going. Lulu wants to keep the showcase clean. When he asks Neek to leave the showcase alone, Neek says yes, but after Lulu leaves, Neek starts making plans for his guys to shoot it up. Dean has started supplying Neek and Rock again, but Rock ends up getting cut off for good when Deke finds out Rock bribed someone in his crew to tell her about Neek's drop. Rock starts to pressure Juliana to connect her with her cousin, Joaquin. Kanan got some info from Symphony in the previous episode after a class that gave him a brilliant drug-dealing scheme. People get off the Van Wyck Expressway to get gas on their way to the airport or back to their upscale communities, and Kanan figures that while they're there, they can get dope too. He presents his idea to Marvin, who says no initially because he's scared to get in trouble with Rock again, but eventually he caves in. Detective Burke starts pushing up on Jukebox. Burke sees Juke with Nicole on the street and says she relates because she likes the ladies too. Rock and Fam are installing the drop to their downstairs apartment so they can move the dope. Because of this, they're obviously tearing a few things up. The city inspector comes by and starts causing problems and telling them to fix everything back to the way it was. Rock uses her seductive charm to talk him into a personal meeting later. At the meeting, she offers him cash. But when the inspector tries to rape her, Rock ends up clocking him with a sledgehammer. She calls Marvin, and that's all for the inspector. Kanan sleeps with Davina. Marvin starts on the highway scheme that Kanan told him about. Then it's time for Juke and Famous to turn it out at the showcase. Juke's not singing her own song, but Lulu got it so she could sing the hook on Famous's song, Streets Need a Body. Only Juke has stage fright. Kanan has to talk her out of the bathroom, giving a good illustration of how close they are. Symphony, keeping that secret about Kanan getting arrested, finally catches up with him at the showcase. Rock finds out and curbs him. Crown rolls up some crack and weed in a blunt, and Nicole is introduced to crack when she smokes it. Famous and Juke turn out the showcase. The song is lit. During the performance of the song, Kanan listens to it for the first time and realizes that Famous is rapping about $20 getting shot. Worrell and Scrap, who's undercover, show up at the showcase for Neek. At the last minute, Worrell tells Scrap that they're going to hit Lulu. Scrap signals Lulu, so Lou starts a fight, and all hell breaks loose, putting a wrench in Worrell's plans to shoot him. As Worrell and Scrappy leave the showcase, Worrell pulls a gun on Scrappy and lets him know that they knew he was just spying on them for Rock all along. They torture him and beat him and drop him at Rock's front door later that night to end episode 6. Episode 7 starts off with Rock dropping off Scrappy at the hospital. Lou goes to Worrell's house and tries to kill him, but Worrell jumps out the window and runs away. Kanan takes his mom out to meet Davina at a restaurant, but surprises Rock with Symphony. Rock and Symphony make up and the four of them have a double date. Davina questions Kanan about Famous's rap lyrics about $20. Kanan denies everything and says Famous is just telling a story, but Davina doesn't buy it. Marvin and his crew are selling a lot off Van Wyck Expressway, but without a plug, they're running super low on product. While Marvin is out, Kanan talks his crew into letting him cook up some crack cut with something they call Cinder Williams. They give this new product out as testers around the hood, but Kanan's kitchen skills are lacking. The crack literally kills people when they smoke it. Marvin finds out, lets Kanan have it, then focuses on trying to keep it all quiet. Rock has her meeting with the potential new plug, Joaquin. She also brings up to Symphony the possibility of having kids together, and her eventually leaving the day-to-day of the game. Neek pulls up on Lulu at Lamont's with a proposal. He asks Lou to flip on his sister and join him. Lulu hilariously rejects his offer, and Neek tells him that he's going to wish he had it. Episode 7 ends in tragedy. Juke prepares all day to meet Nicole at her ball, but before the ball, Detective Howard rolls up on Juke and Kanan on the block. Kanan has a tester vial of the death crack he cooked. He doesn't know it's lethal yet and passes it off to Juke as she walks away, so he'll be clean for Detective Howard, just in case. Juke then meets Nicole earlier in the day before the ball, and while Nicole is innocently putting a surprise in Juke's bag, Nicole peeps the crack and swipes it, figuring Juke won't notice. Then, as Nicole's getting ready for her ball, she's frustrated because her mom is forcing her to go with a guy she doesn't like, and she decides to smoke the crack. As all who've smoked the death crack before her have done, she keels over and takes her last breath, alone in her room. In episode 8, Juliana finally asks for Rock's help with her husband, Gabriel. They set up a scheme for Gabriel to come running out the house after Juliana, and when he does, Rock shoots and kills him. Rock finally hears about the death crack that was in the vials with the blue caps. Neek hears about it too and thinks Rock has something to do with it, so he starts calling more shooters to get his soldiers up. Detectives Howard and Burke start investigating the death crack blue caps, which lead them to Lil Rob, one of the guys in Marvin's crew. They roll up on Lil Rob at a strip club, and he quickly rats out Kanan. Lulu walks into Bulletproof Studios lured up. He tells Crown that the loan Crown got from him earlier is about to turn into an investment because he's taking 50% of the labor. Crown tries to object, but Lou doesn't give him a choice. Detective Howard has some leverage now with these accusations on Kanan about the blue caps, so he continues pressuring Rock about her making an introduction between him and Kanan. Howard may really want to know his son, but it also seems like he's really desperate because he's dying from leukemia. Kanan's bone marrow might just be the only chance he has to live. Rock confronts Kanan about the blue caps, and a super heavy scene follows where she actually lets him know that she killed his friend D-Wiz and that it was Kanan's fault because they killed Buck 20. She basically told him that after that happened, the streets needed a body. This seems to really hit Kanan. Rock starts cooking up another scheme. They know where Neek lives, so she gets Lulu to stake it out, and when Neek shows up, Lulu goes into his car and grabs his infamous unique jacket. The jacket is white leather with a gold strap along the back, and unique written in big red letters on the stripe. Very conspicuous. Then Rock confronts Marvin about the blue caps. After she hits him with a 2x4, she tells him that their relationship is over and that she never wants to see him again. Juke breaks into Nicole's house for some closure, but once in, she gets paralyzed by her emotions of missing Nicole. She stays there till Nicole's parents get back and see her. She then gets arrested, but on the way to lockdown, Detective Burke calls in and gets the two arresting officers to let her go. We find out that Davina's mom has actually been dead for like a month, so Davina and her infant sister get taken to Child Protective Services. Marvin's been knocking down Tony from the club, then Tony gets caught up on drug charges, so she tries to feed Marvin to the police so she can clear her name. Rock has another meeting with Joaquin, who has been following her and actually brings up her meetings with Detective Howard. She puts his suspicions to rest by letting him know that she just killed Juliana's husband Gabriel that morning. So how could she be a snitch? He's satisfied with her answer, but is still feeling her out. To end this episode 8, Lulu's sitting in his house alone after an argument with Jess, and Worrell and some of Meek's other soldiers throw Molotov cocktails into his windows and start shooting the place up. Lulu tries to shoot back, but is overcome by the smoke and passes out. Marvin happens to drive up as this is happening. He starts to shoot out outside. When Worrell's crew leaves, Marvin runs into the burning house and saves his little brother, showing that at the end of the day, they have each other's back. Marvin goes to get payback right away. Lil Rob drives a van, they find Unique, and they shoot up his crew and his car. Unique has his young son with him, but he closes he and his son inside his bulletproof car when the shooting starts. A few of Neek's soldiers get hit before they're able to run off Marvin. When Marvin gets rid of the van, he gets rid of Lil Rob too for snitching on Kanan. Jessica and Rock are bedside while Lulu is unconscious at the hospital. Symphony walks in to see Rock, and Rock breaks up with him again. Maybe she wants to keep him away from the war that's brewing. Maybe she doesn't want him as a distraction. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Neek sends some hitters to the hospital to finish Lulu off. They get orderly uniforms and everything like professionals. But Detective Howard happens to be at the hospital and peeps the hitters coming in. He moves Lou to another room, sets the hitters up, and arrests them for attempted murder. saving Lou's life. Detective Burke rolls up on Juke while Juke's at Nicole's grave and lets Juke know she made the call telling those cops to let her go. Then Burke invites her to get him Italian ice, and Juke agrees. But their outing ends with Burke trying to get some information from her, and Juke telling her that she's not about to tell her anything. Rock is in the hospital chapel asking for forgiveness for her next moves when Marvin walks in. The two have a real heart-to-heart. He concedes that she's the best leader, but that he still needs respect. She tells him that she needs him back in the crew, and they make up. Later, while Kanan and Uncle Marvin are doing some gun maintenance, getting ready for war, Kanan starts to get on his uncle for playing some old music. It's smoky, but Kanan wants to hear some rap. Marvin goes into Juke's room to see if he can find some, and he finds a video of Juke and Nicole singing a love song together, along with some pics of them looking all lovey-dovey. He's not feeling that at all. When Juke comes in, her and Marvin get into a heated argument. Juke finally spits in Marvin's face, and then he backhands her. They start fighting, and it ends up with Marvin choking her against the wall until Juke looks like she can't take it anymore, and Marvin realizes he's killing his own daughter. Juke gets up and walks away as Marvin calls out to him. Unique sends his army out for war on Rock and fam. Rock acts out her plan and actually tells Kanan to kill Detective Howard. Juke lets Rock know Detective Burke is pushing up on her, and Rock tells her to feed Burke some misinformation about Neek wanting some get back on the cops for busting up his last drop. Lulu finally wakes up, and Jessica's right there. Kanan sets up to do the deed. He puts on Unique's stolen jacket with Unique's name in bright red on the back. Howard thinks he's there to finally meet Kanan, and that Rock told Kanan that Howard's his real father. Then Kanan pulls out a gun and shoots him. Mama kept telling Kanan that he needs to shoot 2 times to the body and 1 to the head. But Kanan only shoots him once to the body before he gets spooked by someone reacting to hearing a gunshot. The season finale is all about getting Kanan out of town. Scrappy's out the hospital now and picks Kanan up after the hit. The block is super hot already with cop cars, lights, and sirens everywhere. Howard gets taken into the hospital, still alive at the moment. The captain of their precinct gets replaced by a Captain Baptiste, who refers to himself as a heavier hand. And Burke goes out to investigate Howard's shooting. Kanan meets back up with his mom, who holds him up in the back of the bodega and tells him to wait on his Uncle Marvin. Unique finds out about Detective Howard getting shot and finds out that he is a suspect. He figures Rock has something to do with it all. He grabs his girl and his son and heads to his spot uptown. But Marvin gets there first and puts Unique's jacket back into his closet, then gets out of there before Unique gets home. On Marvin's way to pick up Kanan, Marvin has to stop at a checkpoint, and come to find out Tony has got the police to issue a warrant for Marvin for drug possession with intent. So Marvin gets arrested and can't get to Kanan. Juke comes into the back room of the bodega to keep Kanan company and give him some emotional support. The fam is finished working on the spot at the projects. It's now ready for business, so the stash has been relocated there from the bodega. Rock expects for the projects to get tossed by the cops, but she has the dope chute so she can dump the dope downstairs before they come into the apartment. While Lulu's in the hospital, he finds out Detective Howard got shot. As soon as he finds out, he tells Jessica to bring him to Baisley Projects so he can talk to Rock and find out what's going on. When Lulu gets there, he confronts Rock about shooting a cop. When he finds out she got Kanan to do it, he is completely thrown to the point he says he's done with the game. Rock tells him he ain't going nowhere though, but she is quick to say she's not threatening him. She tells him she's doing it all for him and Marvin and Kanan. The fam gets word that the police just left floor 7 and are headed to their spot, so they drop all the dope down the chute. When the cops come in, Rock and Lulu and everyone play house real nice. The cops can't find anything, so they leave. Back at Unique's place, Neek knows something is up, so he's packing, getting ready to leave. He goes into his closet and sees that jacket that he knows has been missing. Understanding comes over his face as he finally starts putting it together. Then the cops bust in and they arrest him. Rock eventually calls Symphony to come get Kanan. Symphony comes and he takes Kanan to his grandmother in Maryland. Then Detective Howard wakes up, like, whoa! And that's the season 1 recap for you. Stay tuned to season 2 to see how it all unfolds, and keep checking out Jube Vision. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We out.